Hey, what's up, everybody? Joe Simpson. A little unboxing of sorts today, a product review and a quick talk. Not a ton of catches this week. These fish around here are just beat down. They're not biting. I don't know if it's the heat, if it's the high pressure from all these people that are on quarantine that have taken up fishing, or what the deal is. It's just one of those stretches where it hasn't been good. So this morning I woke up, I wasn't feeling it at all, so I canceled out on Pat. And he went fishing and didn't do well. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go, but I feel bad that I sent him out there to just strike out on his own. He caught a couple of little ones, but he said I didn't miss anything. So I'm kind of glad I slept in today. And then last night I had to change a faucet on my sink. And I think there's an opportunity there of an invention of some way to make sink faucet installations a lot easier. I don't know why it is you have to get up under a sink, stretch out as a grown ass fat dude and get all up underneath the sink and have to do it that way, but it's just ridiculous. But anyway, 2.5, 3 hours later, I got both faucets changed out in my master bathroom, and that just about took it all out of me. I didn't have anything left. So I've been lazing around this morning, but I thought since I had this in the box and it just came in, I would talk about it with you guys and at least do a product review this week to give you something to look at. I don't know if you guys have, or most of you probably have heard of the DC reels from Shimano DC, meaning digitally controlled. So far, I have tried the Shimano Corrado, the DC Scorpion, and the SLX, but not the SLX that you know about. It's the SLX that's sold in Japan. Now, if you've ever seen the Reel Test guy, he did a review on the SLX that comes from Japan, and he was trying to determine whether or not it was as good as what they say on the Japanese infomercials and stuff. So he bought one and tried it out. It was convincing enough for me to buy one. Since I purchased the one, I've also picked up two more. I like them a lot. And I'll talk about why I like them. The DC Corrado is a 150 reel, meaning it has 150 yard spool capacity. So it's got in the middle a real skinny spool and you can fit a lot of line. And I sold that recently because I just didn't think it was as good as my Scorpion. It's still good. I mean, it's great, but it just wasn't anything special for me. I didn't, you know how sometimes you just use stuff and you think, it's okay, but I don't love it. And I sold it to NC Bassin, and I think he likes it a whole lot. So he's been using it like crazy, but he fishes a lot deeper structure, maybe farther casting. That reel with that extra line capacity might be good for him. Or if he's fishing in a way that maybe he loses line from time to time, he wants to have some backup line on there. But I also did some BFS fishing and kind of learned to love those small, shallow little reels that don't hold much line, because the lighter weight of that spool gives it a different casting profile altogether. And I really like the way that the smaller spools or the shallower spools cast. Now, the DC Corrado is a 150. The Scorpion is a 70. So what I like about the Scorpion is it has a little less line capacity, a little lighter weight and centrifugal weight that's spinning when it's casting out. And I just felt like the Scorpion brake system and the casting worked better than the Corrado. But it may not have anything to do with the braking system. It just might have more to do with the weight. So then I said, well, wait, the Scorpion is $300. So I'm not going to buy another $300 reel because I don't like it that much. Plus the Scorpion's been around a long time, so it might be getting a little long in the tooth. And then they just came out, and the Reel Test guy did a review of the SLX DC, and it's called the SLX DC 70 and 71. And those are only made in Japan. So you have to go to a website called like Digitaka, or there's one other one as well. And I'll link those below. So Pat ordered one, and I looked at it and I thought it looked really good, and it felt smaller than the Corrado. And that's the one thing I do like about the Scorpion is it has a little smaller profile. It's more palmable. So you can get the SLX in America, the 150 version, for $180. The Digitaka 71 and 70, which is left and right hand, those are about $220. And that's with the shipping and everything. So I went ahead and got online and I ordered one, and I haven't looked back. I love this reel, man. And first thing I'm going to say is if you have like an Aldebaran, or you've got like some Daiwa reel that you can just bomb cast, and it's a normal reel, it doesn't have any digitally controlled attributes or anything, you don't need DC. The one thing I'll say about the DC that I really like is if I were just throwing braid all the time, I probably wouldn't have one, because you don't need to. Braid is a real easy line to cast on most reels. But when you get into fluorocarbon and mono, and the line tends to change dynamics with temperatures and things like that, These DC reels really come in handy, helping you not blow up a cast and mess things up. So I would say the DC just keeps me out of trouble more often. It definitely doesn't cast farther than most normal reels, in my opinion. I think you can set reels to cast just as far, but you don't have to worry about your casting weights as much. The thing about a DC is once you set it, you forget it. So I either pick setting level 2 or 3 on my brake system, depending what I'm throwing and the conditions. And I don't think about anything else. I just keep changing baits and moving things around, and it just always casts consistently great. So I'd say the real benefits to the DC is they keep you a little more safe, so you don't have any stupid mistakes. And they also take away the thinking as far as dropping and setting up your reels for different weight lures. So like one minute you might be throwing a whopper plopper, and the next minute you might be throwing like who knows, like a plastic worm with a really light bullet weight, and all of a sudden they cast differently and they don't work as well. Or if you throw a spinnerbait and then you go to a whopper plopper, those are two different things and they throw differently. So, but on the DCs, you don't even think, you just change them and throw and just go. So that's pretty nice. But let's stop talking. Let's start looking at it, and I'll show you what it looks like. Fresh out of the box. This is my third one. I haven't put it on a rod yet because I'm waiting for it to come. I just bought, I think it's called a Shimano Intenza. So they have the Shimano SLX, which Tactical Bassin loves that rod. And I was going to get an SLX because it matched the SLX reel in terms of name and color code and all that stuff. But I didn't because it's back ordered. Then I was going to get a TI from Halo, one of their TI series rods, which is really nice, and they're back ordered. And then I was going to go with the Shimano Corrado. I'm looking for a 7-foot medium heavy fast, and the Shimano Corrado was back ordered as well. So I tried 3 different rod types. I couldn't get to them. And then I saw Tactical Bassin talk about the new Intenza rod that came out. I think it's Intenza. It's the one that's kind of like between the SLX and the Corrado. It's $129 on Tackle Warehouse. And what I liked about it, what I was looking for, is it has an extra fast tip, medium heavy. And I kind of wanted to go with the sensitivity aspects, and hopefully that'll be a good bottom contact rod for me, because I already have the 7-foot medium Cast King, which is my spinnerbait rod. And then I have a 7.3 medium heavy, which is the Halo rod, XT3 Pro, which that's more, I don't know, I don't really use that for bottom contact. It's not quite as sensitive as I would like it to be for that. So I'm hoping this Intenza will give me the sensitivity that I'm looking for. We'll see. I'll review that when I get it. And I picked up a new rod from Halo. It's called the KS Elite 2. And that's a pretty nice rod. I got a 610 medium, thinking it was going to be a square bill rod. The tip is so fast and the dynamics are so different than what I expected for the square bill aspect that I think I'm just going to keep my Piscifun Torrent medium 610 and use that as my square bill rod because that has a really nice parabolic bend. But anyway, enough talking. So let's take a look at this reel. This thing is sexy, sexy, sexy. So this is the SLX DC, and this is the 71, which is a left-hand crank. And you can kind of see it's got more of a smoky finish, black letters, blue spool. I don't know that it's all that much different than the other one. Mine's a left. Super smooth reel. You can see the spool is a 70 and not a 150. And pretty much the same build quality and design as you would see on the other SLX. Really, really nice looking reel. What I like about it though is it's really small, really palmable. I think it's going to be a great reel to use long term. I'm kind of trying to step up my game in terms of durability and quality of these reels, because I've been using some cheaper reels and I'm getting some iffy performance out of them after about 1.5 years, 2 years, which I would expect for a $30 Chinese reel. So I'm finally stepping up my game. I'm going to end up with about 6 to 10 rods, and it's going to go from the lightest spinning all the way up to the heaviest casting. And what I'll do one day when I get them all pieced together is walk through each and every one and what I use them for. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base today and show you this new SLX DC. Take a nice tour around this thing. I mean, this thing is just, you know, Shimano builds great reels. So this might be one to check out if you're in that $200 price range and you don't want to get like a Scorpion or pay the $250 for the Corrado. This is a good option, and it comes from Digitaka. One thing I will say is Digitaka ships these things out, and literally I ordered it on a Monday. I think I had it on a Friday. I don't know how that works for the shipping prices they charge me, but I got this thing quick. So check it out, the Shimano SLX, the 71 and the 70. They're from Japan. And they come in ratios from 6:3, 7:3, and 8:3:1 ratios. And I have 2 6s and an 8. And now I have the Scorpion as a 7. So I have the speeds covered in all DCs, and I have a couple of other reels filling in the voids for my frog rods and other things. So I think I'm about done with fishing gear. Yeah, right. That's going to happen. But anyway, I think I'm about done. I'll leave you with a couple catches. You guys let me know what's going on in your world. And maybe when I get this next monster box, I will do a live unboxing and chit chat, and we'll hang out and you guys can ask me questions about some stuff that I'm doing lately. All right, you guys hang in there, tight lines. Talk to you soon. See you.